Hey there folks, how's it going? So today we're going to be talking about how to be the best of the best in Diablo Immortal. How to farm the best, how to level the fastest, how to get the best gear, how to be the best of the best. In this video, I'm telling you everything you need to know about that. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Nemo. Welcome to another Diablo Immortal video. Today, we're talking about leveling. We're talking about farming. We're talking about the best gear and how you can be the best of the best. How you can have all of that stuff. The most efficient way of doing it, the fastest way of doing it. There's a lot of questions in Diablo Immortal, and today I'm giving you everything you need to know about it. Remember, this video is going to be chaptered, so you can skip around anytime you like. Read those chapters. While you're down there, make sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe, stay tuned to the latest Diablo Immortal content. And just before we get started, I actually made two really good videos, one on farming and one on leveling. I will be referencing them in this video right here because they're going to work hand in hand with this one. So you should definitely check them out after we finish right here with this video. So a lot of people ask, they say, Nemo, what is the most efficient way of doing everything? What is the fastest and the most efficient way of leveling, of getting the best gear? What should I be doing? Tell me all of the things that I need to focus on to be the best of the best of the best. Well, today in this video, that's exactly what we're going to do. Remember, it is very important to play at your own pace. It is very important to make sure that you enjoy the game and not rush through it. It's really beautiful. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. But if you want to, if you need to kind of turn up the gear a little bit, drop it into 6 and punch the gas, maybe for just a little bit, maybe for a week, maybe you need to catch up to somebody, whatever is the case, right here, I'm telling you everything you need to know, the fastest way that you can do everything, the maximize of everything that you possibly need to do to be the best in Diablo Immortal, to go to sleep that night and say, I did it all for today. First and foremost, we're going to start with bounties. You have to do your bounties. There's 12 of them you get per day, and every 4 you get extra rewards, you get charms, you get scoria, you get gold, you get a bunch of stuff. You even get platinum at the end of it, and honor. It's really important to make sure that you finish your bounties. It is by far one of the most important things. Also, on top of that, once you get to 43, whether you're immortal or you're shadow, you're going to have shadow contracts and or immortal dailies that you'll have to do. So those are also something that you should be doing as well, because those things will help you with shadow rank and immortal rank, and they will of course ultimately give you more honor, more gear, more gold. More is better. You got to make sure that you do your challenges. So you have to make sure you do your 12 bounties. There are 12 of them a day. You got to make sure you do at least 5 shadow contracts. There's multiples that you get. There's 5 a week and they get added. You got to make sure you do those. And of course, immortal dailies. You will see those every day in your codex. You'll see the immortal dailies right there. In the immortal section, you have to do all of those things. It's very important. What else are we doing? Well, within the shadows and of course the immortals, there are other activities like defending the vault and attacking the vault, doing the path of blood. You have to make sure that you maximize on all of those activities. So when you do your shadow contracts, you also have to make sure you do a raid. You raid the vaults if you have the shard. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link playlists for you up top with a bunch of videos that describe everything, all of the activities within themselves, what you should be doing, shadows, immortals, everything up top. I'll give you a whole playlist to check out for that information. So what you have to do is make sure you do all of those activities, all of the shadow stuff, all of the immortal stuff, all of the bounties, all the dailies. You have to do them. Then afterwards, you have to go and do the challenge rifts. The challenge rifts are super important. You have to do them daily and beat your previous day's challenge rift, because 1, it will give you some rewards, so that's really important. 2, a solo challenge rift will place you on a leaderboard. This is a monthly leaderboard. You have to make sure that you get on challenge leaderboard and try to obviously place, because if you do, you get rewards at the end of the month. There are challenge rifts for solo, for duos, for trios, and then for 4 as well. So you have to make sure, if it's possible, if you can, maximize and do your solo challenge rift for your daily reward. Try to place on a solo top leaderboard in the challenge rifts, and then do it with duos, trios, and 4. So that would be 4 different challenge rifts that you can place on every month. And you got to make sure you do your daily challenge rift, because that'll give you your daily reward if you beat yourself from previous day. Another thing to remember, just by doing the challenge rift and beating it for the first time, you get that initial reward for doing the challenge rift. So Every time you go up, if you haven't done it already, you also get that reward. So it's pretty good. You get lots of good rewards, upgrade materials, gold, things that you need. Challenge rifts are super important. At the same time, you also got to make sure you do your Elder Rifts if you have rare or legendary crests. If you have any rare or any legendary crests, they should be burning a hole in your in your bag. You should be putting them in. You should be doing them. And the reason that is the case is because whenever you put a rare crest into an Elder Rift, it's going to give you a chance for a legendary, or it'll give you a rune. There's a lot of stuff that you can get from it. It's really important. And if you put a legendary crest into an Elder Rift, it guarantees you a legendary gem. So if you have one of those things and you're not using it, you're missing out. You want the legendary gems because you're going to need them. You need them for upgrading, for socketing, etc. We'll talk about legendary gems in just a little bit, but it's very important to use your crest. You get them at battle passes. You get them at a variety of different places. Got to use those things. It's also very important to make sure that you use your gems wisely. Now, I have a full gem guide. I'll link that for you up top. Kind of talks about how gems work and how you should be using them. But in general, you got to make sure that you upgrade your gems. If you have a bunch of the gems that are the same, you should be upgrading them. Because regular gems give you so much. They infinitely stack up as far as when you rank them up from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. They get so much better. I believe the first one's like 36. Rank 4 is like 360 or something like that. It's like insane. It goes 10 to 15 times. So the idea is, if you have multiple gems, it's really good to make sure that you rank them up. Keep the gems ranked up, the regular gems, and then of course the legendary gems as well. Remember, I have a guide if you're confused about how that all works. Legendary gems, regular gems, upgrades, all up there for you. It's very important to do that. Now, it's also very important to make sure that you use your honor wisely. Honor Merchant gives you, basically, you're able to get some gems from the Honor Merchant on a timely basis. That is something that you should definitely be using your honor for. It is really hard to get gems, regular gems. There's only a few ways to get regular gems. You get some through bounties. You also get some through hidden dungeons, which is another side tip for you. If you're running around the world and you see a hidden layer, any of those underground layers, a hidden dungeon that just pops up once in a while, they're very much random and you absolutely need to take it. It does not matter what you're doing, you need to stop what you're doing and finish and clean that dungeon, because it will give you a whole bunch of things. It's really easy to do, and it's one of the only ways, not the only way, there are multiple other ones, but pretty much one of the only ways to get regular, normal gems. So, if you're going to see a hidden dungeon, make sure you take it, because you need the normal gems, and you need the normal gems to keep upgrading them and putting them into your secondary gear slots. They're going to give you a massive boost. As far as how the gems work and all of that, that's where the variety of different builds comes in. And of course, I'll come out with a couple of guides for you to make sure you stay tuned for that. But that's kind of how it works. So make sure that you use your honor wisely. Use your honor. If you have the honor, you want to make sure that you invest it in your regular gems. It's really important. So another important thing to do is to pick up those monster essences that sometimes some of the enemies drop. If you pick them up and you collect 10, you're able to upgrade your bestiary. Not upgrade it, you're actually able to spin the wheel and possibly get an upgrade. And your bestiary will provide you basically a boost to your passive stats, like your life and etc. It's kind of interesting. I'll come out with another guide for the bestiary, but bottom line, what you need to do is make sure, if you ever see those orange monster essences, pick them up. When you get 10, bring them to the bestiary. That will upgrade you. That will give you passive stat boost on your passive stats, possibly, and it'll give you some gear and stuff like that. So let's talk zone events. These are really important. You absolutely need to do them. Each zone has like a different type of event, and we'll talk about them and the ones that you need to do. But for example, Ashwood Cemetery has a zone event called the Haunted Carriage. That's where the carriage runs around and you have to kill it. And at the end, it spawns like a little boss called the Tax Collector. You take him down. He drops a bunch of stuff. He drops something that's really important, Enchanted Dust. This is what you're going to be chasing for once you get to the end game. Once you beat all this stuff and you get things going, you're going to realize that your gear slots are going to take some upgrading. You're going to need to do a lot of upgrading on them. And the way to do it is to use scraps, enchanted dust, and the legendary material to upgrade it once you get to a high enough level. But one thing that's very important, your stop, your roadway, what is going to basically be a block for you is enchanted dust. This is what you will need. This is what you get when you break down yellow gear. This is what you will need to get to upgrade to a higher and higher gear. Once you get to level 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, those gear slots is going to require so much enchanted dust, and it's really hard to get. One of the only ways, and the best ways, the most efficient ways to get them, is through specific zone events. Haunted Carriage is one of those zone events. You will see people actually set up alarm clocks around because it's every 30 minutes. You're able to run and go grab that. So maybe a most efficient way, let's say for example, you're playing the game and you're roadblocked. You can't do a specific event, you can't do a specific boss because you're not high enough. You need to raise up your gear slots. It might be important and most efficient for you to prioritize your time and run the carriage nonstop over and over again to pick up that enchanted dust, because every 30 minutes on every difficulty, you're able to do it. So you can actually catch like the normal difficulty, you can go to H1, and then go to H3. You could possibly catch multiple difficulties and grab a couple of these carriages to give you the enchanted dust that you need and to help you upgrade a little bit faster. It is one of the more efficient ways of doing it. But those aren't the only events. There's an Ancient Nightmare event that runs every hour at Mouths of Vain. There's also another event that's actually kind of cool. This one doesn't run every hour. This runs whenever you fill it up. There's an event called the Call of the Ancients at the Frozen Tundra. Also a really good one. I won't spoil it for you. But those events right there will give you a lot of enchanted dust. Is what you need. There are other really fun secret events as well. The Lost Pages of Zoltan Kulle. I actually made a whole video on it. This is a really good one that's going to give you a whole bunch of stuff, including you can spawn a world boss, who's going to also drop 5 enchanted dust for you. There's a bunch of other stuff that it does. I will link a video for you up top. You definitely want to check that one out. So the Library of Zoltan Kulle has a really cool mechanic as well. There's another one, like Billifin has an ancient arena chest that's really cool. This is an event that goes from, it turns into like a little PvP event where you can show up and fight for a chest, and whoever wins actually gets this chest, and the chest guarantees you a legendary. That's also timed, and it's on every difficulty. So if you think about it, there's a whole bunch of events that are timed in every different zone that give you enchanted dust. So technically speaking, if you really wanted to, the best possible way, the most efficient way, you could time these by doing the chests at Billifin and doing the chest that the carriage runs. You can also do the Ancient Nightmare and kind of time those things together to continually run them and pick up a lot of different enchanted dust. This is a good way to upgrade your gear really, really fast. Another way to get some enchanted dust would be to use your gold at the antiques dealer. You can kind of basically gamble for some legendaries, yellows, blues, and etc. if you use your gold for a specific item. Well, a lot of the times you might get a yellow item. That yellow item, when you break it down, will give you an enchanted dust. So a good way, sometimes if you don't have any other way of upgrading your material, is to use the gold that you have. Go basically roll at the antiques dealer and see if you get some yellows. Once you get the yellows, you can break them down. That's your enchanted dust right there. That's a good way to do stuff when you run out of things to do. Now, another, of course, way of getting gear and upgrading and getting levels and maybe even getting some legendaries and etc. would be to run specific dungeons. This is also an activity that will boost up your pass, right? Because the battle pass will get you specific, like each one of these activities will get you points on the battle pass. You can check for that in your codex. And the battle pass, when you level it up, will get you stuff as well. Right, it'll get you some items, it'll get you scraps, it might even get you some good legendary crests, it might get you some legendary gems. Obviously make sure that you collect them right there. So that all of this stuff right here is going to basically boost your battle pass and continually get it up and running. That's what you want to do, continually do that. But let's say you finish all of that. Let's say you're done with all of those things. You're like, man, but what else can I do? Well, at this point in time, once you finish all of those things for the day, you could do the most efficient, best way would be to run some dungeons. To nonstop run dungeons the most efficient way possible. There's 2 dungeons that give you the most. Mad King's Breach is probably the fastest dungeon. Again, I have a video that describes all of that. You definitely want to check that out. But you're able to run Mad King's nonstop over and over and over and over again. What does that do? It gives you points, it gives you XP, and it gives you yellow items. You take those yellow items, you break them down, and that gives you enchanted dust. Mad Kings is the fastest and the easiest dungeon to run, especially if you chain it with 4 of your friends. You can just run in and be very efficient. You can run it non-stop. In fact, while you're running King's Dungeon, the Mad King's Breach dungeon, you can portal back to town within the dungeon itself so you don't waste any time. So as soon as you get full of gear, you portal within the dungeon, get the gear, destroy it, continue going, come back, and your friends are still running the dungeon. You could just chain that and do that nonstop over and over and over again. And this really is probably one of the most efficient ways that you can roll and get some gear, get some yellows, possibly get a couple of legendaries, definitely get your XP up. It works really well. In the same manner, you can run the counters. That's another dungeon that's really good, because with this dungeon, you're actually able to get a really good massacre bonus non-stop. I have another video that's really good that describes how to do it and shows you, but you can massacre bonus plus get the 5 extra chests plus do it non-stop over and over again. This is a Countess is another really good dungeon to run. Those two, the Mad Kings and the Counters, are the ones that I would probably pick once, you know, I need to maximize my efficiency, just, you know, non-stop kind of run those. Last two things, if you want to be the best of the best, if you want to squeeze and maximize efficiency, don't sleep on your charms. That's right, you want to make sure you go visit your charm vendor whenever you get any charms and break them down and continually upgrade them to get a really good charm for yourself. You want a charm that actually boosts all of your skills. And of course, it's extra, you know, extra gravy if you get a +2 or a +3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link another video for you up top. It describes everything about charms, how to do it, all that good stuff. I roll some charms in there for you. Definitely check that video out. And last but not least, there's an Essence vendor. Really important. Essence vendor will allow you to take a legendary that you have and extract a power out of it, and take that power and put it into another legendary. So if you get a piece of gear that's really good, but you don't like what it does, you're able to take you know, the special essence of another legendary and infuse it into it. If you're confused, I'll have a video for you up top, again, breaking down exactly what that is and how it works. But this will allow you to have really good gear with really good stats, with really good essences, working with your skills, you know, the way you kind of want to run things. Really important to get really good gear, and in essence, vendor will allow you to kind of swap stuff to make sure that you get the best of the best. So that's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That is efficiency. If you want it to be the best of the best of the best, if you want it to maximize your efficiency, see how you can get to the upper echelons of Diablo Immortal. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you do it. Let me know what you think about this down below. Also, let me know, did I miss anything? Is there something that you should also be doing that maybe I don't know about? I would love to hear it down below. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.